Welcome to another cheapwinefinder.com podcast. This is Domain Dave again, as always. And we have another cheapie. We got a $6.99 Cotes du Rhone wine from Trader Joe's. What's the name of it? I think it's Laurent Dublanc Cotes du Rhone 2020. This is a wine that's also available. Trader Joe's is Aldi Nord or Aldi North. Aldi's is Aldi Sud or Aldi South in Europe. And I put a link to it because I found the ad for Aldi South for this wine. So in Europe, this is an Aldi South wine or an Aldi in the U.S. wine. And in the United States, this is a Trader Joe's wine. Oh, and another thing is $6.99 for a French red wine. You go, I don't know, that's too low to a wine that had to be imported. Well, in New York State, grocery stores can't sell wine, beer, and spirits. Maybe beer, I'm not sure about the beer, but wine and spirits they can't sell. So sometimes these Trader Joe's exclusive import wines end up in a retail store, and they're $12 there. So, so you're not buying a $6.99 wine, you're actually buying a $12 retail wine shop. So there we go. I'm going to take a sip and we're going to talk about it. I think this is a GSM wine, Grenache Syrah Mourvedre. Most of the wines in the Southern Rhone they don't have to be. They can be different variations of the blend. They can be SGMs, they can be GMSs, they can be anything they want to, but typically speaking, there's more Grenache than Syrah, and Mourvedre brings up the rear. And I think that's what it is in the past. I found some other vintages where they're GSM, but I'm not too sure about the 2020 vintage. Cotes du Rhone, this is an AOP. It used to be AOC. That's the highest designation for French wine, though in that there are higher designations inside that designation, like there's Cru wines, Grand Cru. And in the Rhone, there's village wines. They have a name of the village that the vineyard was around, and that's the location. They're kind of like AVAs in California. And then there's like villages where there's like a group, maybe, I'm not sure in the Rhone how many there are, but there's a group of villages that are thought to be better than the rest, and the grapes come from those villages, any percentage from that. And then the Cotes du Rhone is just the general from anywhere. And, that's where the bargain wines come from. Even though like the villages wines aren't that much more expensive. And I think, I'm not positive, there's not a lot of information on this wine, but I think the producer, who is a fairly large producer in the south of France, and the Rhône Valley is in the south, but not all the way south, uses communes. Communes are just groups of independent farmers, vineyard owners, small ones. They can't individually own a winery, and they don't have enough grapes to make their own wine enough to sell. And it's probably not something that's been in the family forever. So a group of small farmers band together, and then they can sell it to a producer who will make their grapes into wine for them. Or sometimes you find that they get together and they hire a winemaker and they build a winery with the money. How this one works, I'm not sure, but this seems to be a commune. It's not seen as, in France, it's not seen as the greatest way to do it, because you don't know, who's policing it? If everybody's independent, it's like self-police vineyards, but I think farmers pretty much will make sure that everybody's on the up and up. That's why this wine is fairly inexpensive, and it's the lowest grade of the highest grade. I'm gonna take another sip. That's not bad at all. It's a very French wine. It's 14.5 in the alcohol, which is more California than France. But I don't really get it on the palate. It's got really dark fruit flavors. It's got blackberry. It's got extracted licorice. It's got black pepper. It's got plums. It's a dark wine. Maybe some blueberry just to soften it a little bit. Maybe a little bit of dried strawberry. Nothing sweet ever. but it's like a soft in the palate. It's fairly smooth and rounded. And then at the very end, there's a nice shot of spice, like to go, whoa, just wake you up a little bit, which is kind of nice. And yeah, so it's a nice tasting wine. There's it's not the most complex wine in the world, but it's got real tannins. There's a pull from the tannins, which is like nowadays tannins are almost forbidden in wine. But if real French wine has real tannins, there's not a lot of tannins. It's not a big deal with the tannins, but they're there. They give you a little pull. A proper French wine should have tannins, and this one is a proper French wine. It tastes great, and having a bit pull from the tannins is a nice thing every so often. A lot of American wines are so big and juicy, you don't really feel the tannins. This one, it's leaner, and it's supposed to be. The GSM blend is a leaner style. I mean, it's usually a leaner one. The Grenache is lean, Syrah is a little plumper, and the Mourvedre gives it a little shot of dark fruit. So there you go. I'm going to take another sip and close this thing up because it's a great little wine for $6.99, even though it's a $12 wine in a retail shop. But there you go. Okay, I'm going to like us, push buttons that like us if you can find a button to push. And I think I got a single vineyard, inexpensive, or not in the $6.99 range, but more like the $12 from this wine sells in New York. Coming up next for Sauvignon Blanc. And so that's it for me, Domain Dave from CheapWineFighter.com. Stay cool, stay safe, and keep it cheap. And we'll be talking to you in a few days. Adios. Bye-bye.